Welcome back to Checkmate with Blake. And in this video, I'm going to be teaching you guys about a very important chess concept, which is the concept of space. In many of my videos and many of the things I try to teach you guys, I teach you all to activate your pieces, to attack the center, to control the center, and to take space on their side of the board. But why is it so important that we take space, and how can we use space to win more chess games? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you guys that through 5 different examples. I'll teach you all 5 different ways that you can use space and to control space to win more chess games. It's going to be a shorter video, but if you do enjoy this video, please consider giving it a like. It helps promote the video, and consider subscribing if you want to join the community that we have here today. I'd love to have you guys. Also, I'm doing some private chess coaching, one-on-one chess coaching. I will attach a link to that in the description and also in the comments. So if that interests you, please consider checking that out. We'll go ahead and get started. And first of all, we'll talk about space. And as you guys can see on this position here, it's very clear that white is controlling the space. And how do we use space to win this game? We look at this and we look at black's position. Black is very, very cramped, and none of their pieces can even really move. The bishop is looking at nothing. The knight is not able to move. The rook is trapped here in the corner, and their other rook is not really doing much either. Their queen is the only piece that maybe has a chance of getting out, and also they're trying to break open. And if we look at this position, if they were to take here, although it's not the end of the world, now their bishop becomes better. Their queen has another area that they can move to, and we don't want that to happen. And why is that? Because if we look at this position, if we consider to close the position even more, to take more space on their side of the board, what do we accomplish? Well, when we play this move, pawn b6, what we're doing is we're closing the board. And why is this move so powerful? I'm going to pull up an analysis just to kind of show you guys. I want you to understand this concept very well. But in this first lesson, when we play b6, if they move the queen over, now you can play a move like rook a1. And why is rook a1 so strong? Let's say they play a move here like queen a8. They're trying their best to break open. Because when you have a position like this is going to illustrate why it is so strong. They're trying everything they can to break open, to free their pieces, but we're not going to let that happen. We're going to play a move like queen c3, attacking the queen here, and they cannot take because our queen covers it. So after they move, now we can infiltrate even further with a move like rook a7. And what we notice when we look at a position like this, and why space is so strong, and this first example is great, although I do say some of these last examples are even stronger, but this first lesson is so great because it shows how space is used to dominate the board. Because black, when you have the space, black has no moves. They cannot break open. They cannot fight for the center. They cannot free their pieces. Meanwhile, when you have space, you have all the options. You can take your time. You can slowly bring these rooks in and slowly create your attack. You have all the time in the world to put your pieces where you think they might be better placed. Meanwhile, black has no options. They have no moves, and they're simply going to have to make waiting moves, waiting for you to slowly increase your advantage on the board. So you use this space when you have a position like this to close the board, to further constrict your opponent and have a stronger attack. Now, onto the second one, we're going to see a little different part of space, and this is how we can use space for tactics. So try to look at this position and try to understand what tactics do we have. Well, obviously, we have a very strong control of space on this queen side of the board, and we can further constrict their position and take more space by playing a move like pawn c5. And what does pawn c5 do? Pawn c5 takes more space on their side of the board, but also attacks the queen. And wherever the queen moves to, we will then play this move pawn c4, and we will actually trap their bishop. And this is only possible because we have such a strong grasp and such a strong understanding of space on the board. So on this lesson, use space for tactics. The next one is that we can use space to dominate minor pieces. When we look at a position like this, I recently had a position kind of similar to this in one of my chess coaching sessions, and someone was asking me, this bishop is so strong, they struggle to deal with this, and my advice to them was try to block this bishop. Try to make this bishop weak. When someone fianchettos their bishop, try to eliminate the piece, but not by attacking it, but rather by blockading it. For example, with pawns is a very, very strong thing you can do. And this position, we are able to do that. We can further take space here, attacking the minor pieces, and the move that you play here, try to pause the video, try to understand this concept, but the move that you play is you take more space. And now you might say, okay, well, their bishop is just going to move away. They're just going to play, bishop h8, and they're fine. But what have we done? We have made their bishop pretty poor. We've made their bishop horrible, actually. And when you do a move like this, when you actually blockade a bishop, it's almost as if this bishop is taken out of the game. So it's almost like you've won 3 points of material, and that's because once the bishop moves to bishop h8, the bishop is so inactive that it's almost as if the piece was not in the game. So take the space to dominate minor pieces. Now, the fourth one here, this is an example of when someone doesn't take the center, when they try to play these offbeat openings, or when they try to take the center with their pieces, but they don't have any of these pawns moved, it creates tactics. And what we'll notice here is we can first attack this piece. Now, they think they're going to go here and double attack, and they're going to win our pawn, and we have some traps set for them, and it's only possible because we can force winning tactics when we have a space advantage. And how you do that is you first play this move. Now they take, and they think, okay, I've won. I've attacked the center. I've won this piece. Well, now you play this move, pawn c5. Take more space on their side of the board and create these tactics. They go away. You attack it again. And now there is a move here that will actually win the piece. We will win this knight in the center of the board. Try and spot this move. This is a great test of your tactical abilities and your positional understanding. But the move that you play here is playing pawn e4. Giving up another pawn. But what are you doing? You're actually pulling the defender away from this knight, allowing you to capture it. And you may look at this and say, okay, well, maybe they can keep the knight. Maybe they can protect the knight. But they cannot. By taking so much space on their side of the board, they cannot retreat the knight here. They cannot go here, 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 or here because the bishop covers. The knight has no moves. And if they instead support the knight, well, obviously we'll take the knight with our pawn and win the piece. So the best thing they can do is actually to take this pawn, just kind of accept their losses, allowing us to take the free knight in the center of the board. And this is, again, only possible because we forced winning tactics because of our amazing space advantage that we have. Now, the last example, we're kind of taking a different perspective on this one, actually. But this is about controlling the board. When we look at this one, we do have an advantage in space, but they are trying to break open with space. They want to play the move b4. And why do they want to play b4? Because if we could flip the board here, but I'm not going to, but if we could flip the board in this position, if they were to play b4, by understanding, now that you guys have learned why space is so important, you guys may see the move b4 is an obvious move, because if they could play b4, they take space on our side of the board, and they have a very, very strong game. Especially because this rook is also behind this pawn. They're going to have a strong attack. They're going to get their bishop out. We don't want them to play the move b4. And this simple lesson, understanding space, will teach you guys why in these positions the automatic move is always to play the move a5, or vice versa. Sometimes the move is to play h5. And the reason being is because we want to prevent them from taking space. So when you see strong players like grandmasters playing this move here, like these flank pawn attacks, a lot of times it's to prevent them from taking space with moves like b4. Now when they play this move saying, I'm still going to continue my attack, we're going to play another move because we want to dominate this board. We want to control the board. So now you play this move a4. They attack our piece, but now we en passant. And why is this move so strong? Why are we en passanting? Because you might just say, okay, well, they're just going to recapture the pawn. But what happens? I'll pull up an analysis just to show you guys this. So when we play these moves here, if they were to take with the knight, because obviously you guys are going to say, well, if they take with the rook, we just win the exchange. And that's true. We would win the exchange. So they do not want to take with the rook. So instead, they're probably going to take with the knight. But what does taking with the knight do? Now this pawn is actually hanging, because this knight was doing a very important job of covering this pawn. And when the knight moves, now we have two attackers on this pawn. So we go down a line like this, and black is so much better. Because what you've accomplished, now you have a knight in the center of the board. You're already threatening a fork of these pieces, but more importantly, your bishop is about to become active after this pawn moves, and you are now controlling the center, and you have more space on the board. And it's only possible because we use these pawns, these flank pawns, to prevent them from taking space. So as a quick summary, we want to close the board, use space for tactics, dominate minor pieces, and force winning tactics and control the board. And these are 5 different ways that you can control space to win more chess games. I hope this video was clear. If there's anything that wasn't clear, please leave it in the comments. I will address every comment. I'll let you guys know if there's anything you have any questions about. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. I'd love to have you guys. Thank you all so much for watching.